And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this very special edition of the weekend edition right here from Brisbane, Australia. Well, the temperature outside is 17 degrees, which is quite pleasant. It is the cooler part of the year in Brisbane, with the winter sticking right in, and early mornings are very cold right here. So, if you're joining in from wherever you are, well, welcome once again to this weekend edition of Australian Indian Radio as live show and streamed live by Chantex Multimedia. We have some things to talk about today. In fact, lots to talk about today. Tomorrow is International Yoga Day, and so many things happening right here in Brisbane. As we know, that functions and things have already started happening, so there's lots that are happening right here in Brisbane at this point in time. Well, right now we're going to look at a very special day today, the 12th of June. Yes, it is Philippines Independence Day. Congratulations. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Philippines Independence Day, and if you are free today, from right now happening on Rockley Showgrounds is the Philippines Festival, so you can go and join in there with Honeybini and her team, and everyone's doing it wonderful. I might pop in there later on. Well, right now it's time to move on, and let's take a look at things that have been happening. Here's an address by Dave Palmer. We're ready.
To the thousands of Queenslanders who've got tested and the thousands who've accessed our community vaccination hubs. There is no doubt that our strong health recovery in this state is making our strong economic recovery possible, which is why today I am announcing our $140 million Big Plans for Small Business strategy. Small businesses in Queensland employ 1 million people, and there's nothing small about the $120 billion that small businesses inject into the Queensland economy every single year. The Big Plans for Small Business strategy will support those businesses over the next 2 years as they navigate the COVID and post-COVID economy. Earlier this year, I travelled around the state and I have spoken to literally thousands of businesses about where they're at right now and the support they need from government. And this strategy supports them in the way they asked to be supported. That includes responding to the number one issue that was raised with me by far right across the state, and that is the critical staff shortages faced by businesses. Businesses simply cannot recruit or retain staff, including staff with the right skills. And we're not just talking about tourism and agriculture, we are talking about every single industry and every single region of Queensland. It's why the announcement today includes a workforce summit, which we will hold in the coming months, We will get together employers, businesses, training organisations and the community to find solutions. This is very complex and it's not something that government can solve on its own. We're in a new world and we need new solutions. The strategy also includes $100 million for a business investment fund, $30 million for direct grants for small businesses, and the establishment of a permanent small business commissioner. The Palaszczuk government backed small business during COVID, and we're backing small business now. I just want to introduce David Duncalf from Excel Event Equipment Hire, who's been a recipient of COVID support, and his business is growing right now.
Hi everybody. We were a lucky recipient of a COVID loan during the pandemic. We were actually closed for almost 4 months where we couldn't trade as events weren't happening, and we were very lucky to have that money to actually pay expenses to keep going. Welcome any initiative that would help us recruit new staff. We're short staff immensely at the moment, and trying to recruit them is near impossible. And even when they do come on board, they take off to another job straight away. So we welcome anything that the government can do to assist us in recruiting staff. Everybody's looking for staff, so because everybody's looking for staff, there's a million jobs available, so people are just jumping on and jumping off as quickly as they like. So we're back up and running at the moment. We're nowhere near our previous levels, but we are certainly rebuilding very, very quickly. We're building the MS Run, Fun Run this weekend and all sorts of stuff, so it's all happening, but now I have a staff shortage, so I can't supply what we normally could.
How many staff do you need?
At the moment I could put 6 people on today.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how many do you already have?
So we've currently got 14 on the book, but pre-COVID we were much, much larger than that.
Did you expect this coming COVID?
No, not the quick ramp up that we've had.
Minister,
Sorry, is there any more questions for David before we... Could I just get your first and last name, please?
David Duncalf.
How do we spell your last name?
Duncalfe.
I'll give you a card if you like. Makes it easier.
Thank you.
Just listening to Dave there say how desperate he is for workers. It's in stark contrast to what we heard just last week. Queensland as being making up, I think it was 24% of job snobs. What would be your message to those people sitting at home today that are categorised as those job snobs?
The issue about staff shortages is quite complex, and it is very puzzling that we have, although our unemployment figures have come right down, that we still have employers crying out for new staff. That's why we need to have a workforce summit. This is a new world, and we need to understand it, and we need to have new solutions to it.
Minister, Night Quarter on the Sunshine Coast was shut down overnight for COVID breaches. It seems that they've gone through the CCTV and found people to be, whether it be dancing, celebrating, whatever it may be, that they've breached that social distancing. Is it, do you think, sort of hypocritical of the government to shut these guys down, considering what we saw in Townsville for Origin on Wednesday night?
So this is a matter that's currently under investigation, so I won't comment in detail. However, I can say that the government has worked really hard to support small businesses, including live music venues, and our number one consideration is community safety, and that's the number one thing that we're looking at, and so we need to make sure that all businesses are complying.
That this small business owner is saying that the government's hypocritical, especially the small business minister here, that they've been shut down for breaches of social distancing, yet we have a look at State of Origin, we have a look at sport seems to be first on the recovery map. What about the gig economy? That's what they're asking.
Well, I think that the number one consideration for all businesses is community safety, and I can't comment on this particular case. It's currently under investigation. I don't know the details, but I can say to you that while we support small business, and today we're announcing significant support for small business, community safety is the number one consideration.
Just just on small business again, we see this week this couple that have come up from Victoria. I guess, Minister, use this time to a stern message to people that, you know, they're not just breaking the law, but they're affecting people. They're affecting small businesses, towns that have had to shut cafes we saw on the Sunshine Coast, you know, things like that.
That's right. Look, Queenslanders have worked really hard to do the right thing, and sometimes for small businesses that's been to their detriment. But we're asking Queenslanders to do the right thing. They are doing the right thing. It is very disappointing if anyone puts community safety at risk. There are penalties in place, and we're asking people to do the right thing so that we can keep communities safe.
Sorry, you go. No, you go.
Only one new case overnight in hotel quarantine. Should we be breathing a sigh of relief today, or are we still not out of the woods yet on the Sunshine Coast?
Look, I think I want to really congratulate everyone who has got tested, everyone who has accessed the community vaccination hubs. It's very good news about 0 new community cases today, but we have to be vigilant all the time. We can never let up. We really need people to get vaccinated. We really need people to be tested if they have any symptoms at all. If we continue to do that, then we will continue with the really strong health recovery that we're making.
Yes, and that is quite true, that if we keep on, being vigilant and, of course, maintaining those the warnings that have been put in place as well, we cannot become complacent. We need to remain vigilant and, keep Queensland safe. Well, right now, moving on, let's take a look at Melbourne as they come out of the lockdown.
Kim Jakes had this lift installed in his home last year. That was one silver lining when he came off his Vespa 2 weeks later, injuring his ankle.
It hurts an awful lot, and I haven't been able to find a position where it doesn't.
He was scheduled to have surgery 2 weeks ago, but it was cancelled due to Victoria's lockdown. His surgeon then planned to do it tomorrow, but the government has decided not to restart non-urgent elective surgeries in Melbourne until Tuesday.
I'd love somebody who's making those decisions to have the pain I've got and consider it to be non-urgent. That wouldn't happen, promise.
My patients at the moment can get a pedicure but can't get access to surgery. I think having a plan moving forward, and what is the cut-off for stopping elective surgery?
It is not as simple as flicking a switch. Our hospitals need some time to scale up.
Luckily, surgery isn't needed for prep student Michael Tebble, who had a ripping lockdown tale to share as schools returned today.
I was jumping off my mum's couch. It was like this high, and I was spinning like a hurricane.
And there were happy faces at cafes and pubs, reopening after 2 weeks.
It was just tough just being at home and just try to go for walks and things.
Nice to have a wine, nice to have someone else do the dishes.
But many businesses still can't reopen. Amelia Mills can't operate her makeup business because clients have to wear masks and she isn't eligible for government help.
It's taken a big mental toll on myself and a lot of others.
Authorities say 0 cases today is promising, but masks still need to be worn outdoors for now.
It's a small thing for a short period of time further to continue to reduce that risk.
It's still not known how a Melbourne couple who tested positive in Queensland caught the virus, but authorities there say they've fined 5 other Victorians for crossing the border.
You are allowed to travel from regional Victoria now into Queensland, but if you are from Greater Melbourne, you cannot enter the state.
As the long weekend kicks off, most Melburnians will just be making the most of their 25-kilometre radius. Jessica Longbottom, ABC.
The newfound freedom, the cafes in Melbourne always been a cafe society. Well, it's been hard on them, and right now, time for them to enjoy, but within the parameters and within the area right now. Well, Queensland is great, and so are many of the Queensland's greats.
Queensland is just the most amazingly beautiful state. I've spent 25 years of my life in North Queensland, and to be nominated and then awarded a Queensland Great Award is just second to none. It's probably the best day of my life.
It makes me feel most honoured, particularly that I was born a Queenslander and am very proud to be a Queenslander.
To be a Queensland Great, it will help me to do my work. It'll help me to access services that I haven't been able to access.
I think that valuing the work we do is really important, and that it would encourage other people to keep seeing its value and to keep acknowledging the people who do this work.
And it is always good to see the people that do those kind of work and being recognized for what they have been doing in making this state a great state. So congratulations to all the recipients of Queensland Great.
GlobeNet Realty. GlobeNet Realty has been the longest established, trusted and respected agency in its trade area. Washa Chandra, Director of GlobeNet Realty, provides honest and ethical service to her customers. If you are thinking of investing in Brisbane real estate market, or if you are seeking professional property management, then you should contact Usha Chandra today on landline 3865 4466 or mobile 0419 775 416. And for further updates, log on to our website www.globenetralty.com.au. GlobeNet Realty is your own local real estate agency. Situated at Shop 52281 Sandgate Road, Boondall. GlobeNet Realty. Real estate is our world.
And ladies and gentlemen, don't forget that on every Wednesday we have the real estate update with Usha Chandra right here on this channel. But right now we're going to look at some of the medical procedures and the future of them.
As you move to bend your leg up for your dancing.
Megan is one of tens of thousands of Australians who have orthopaedic procedures each year.
I'm a dancer and I was in a bit of pain.
She's having a hip arthroscopy next month to address restricted movement.
After surgery, I'm hoping that I can get back in the studio.
If you choose to be treated outside the public health system, the surgeon charges a fee. Your health fund will pick up a portion. The government chips in through the Medicare rebate and the rest is paid by the patient. From next month, that Medicare rebate will change for more than 900 procedures.
It's a change that we've known was coming for some time.
So how will the changes affect what a patient pays? Most relate to orthopaedic surgery. Some common procedures aren't affected, like hip replacements. The Medicare rebate for that is still just over $1,000. But for other procedures, you might end up paying more.
We've spent the whole morning trying to explain to people booking surgery that we're very sorry, but we cannot tell them what it's going to cost them.
We don't really know what the impact on patients is going to be until we know what the private health insurers are going to do.
Currently, surgeons can bill some procedures as several different items added together. Under the new rules, many surgeries can now only be billed under one of those items, reducing the rebate paid to patients. If surgeons keep their fees the same, someone has to pick up the additional cost.
I think the way to resolve it is for the surgeons to adjust their fees according to the new schedule so there is no out-of-pocket.
We've never been asked to drop our fees by 60% before. In this area here.
The federal government says it will work with the Australian Medical Association to make the introduction to the changes as smooth as possible for patients. Sophie Scott, ABC News.
So, you know, the transition is to be made as smooth as possible, the changes that had to happen. And of course, there will be people who would be caught out who had already booked their surgeries. Now, the other case that has been making news is the Sri Lankan family of Bilavilla, where people have been, there's been public outcry, that they should be resettled, and the amount of funds that the government has already spent.
A smile, a sunny dress and a storybook, a picture of a 3-year-old girl on the mend. Tanaka Murugappan was rushed to Perth Children's Hospital on Monday, evacuated from Christmas Island, suffering a serious infection.
Let these people
back to Billow.
Her ordeal putting the plight of her family back in the spotlight. For 2 years they've been out of sight, detained on Christmas Island, fighting deportation to Sri Lanka.
There's a regional town in Queensland that wants this family back.
The Home Affairs Minister had suggested a new home could be found overseas, comments she's now walking away from.
I actually haven't said that I'm investigating resettlement options for that family.
On Tuesday, it appeared she did.
Does the government not have the discretion to be able to make a decision on this?
We are going through the process now of investigating a range of resettlement options in relation to a number of different circumstances.
That was backed in by the Foreign Minister.
I understand the United States is the first of those, and that New Zealand is also an option.
It turns out they're not. The family isn't currently eligible to be resettled in either country.
This family does not have refugee status. Please help.
Their applications have been rejected by the Coalition and the courts, but legal action underway is forcing the Immigration Minister to consider whether the family can apply for other visas.
They should be granted visas based upon the ministerial discretion.
It's not a case of being mean. I'm not going to have people die trying to come to Australia by sea on my watch.
The Morrison government is effectively caught between a rock and a hard place. It doesn't want to back down on its hardline border policies, but at the same time it knows it needs to find an acceptable solution to what's become a years-long legal saga that's left a family of 4 in limbo. Jane Norman.
And of course, we all know about the case that's been going on for such a long time, and there's been such a great community outro as well. Government stance is, they need to uphold the law of the land. Well, we'll see what happens out of that. I hope that common sense will prevail. Right now, let's take a look at some of the functions and events taking place right here. Just a quick announcement about the Shishir Sangeet. As you can see, it's got Saikat Bhattacharya. Unfortunately, he can't come because he is from Victoria, and his replacement will be Indranil Basu Chatterjee. And this event here will be taking place tomorrow, the 13th of June, 10 a.m. till noon, Kellamvale Districts Park, Formby Street in Kellamvale. Come and join everyone there. So this is supported by Councillor Angela Owen and put together by Divya Jyoti Jagriti Sansthan and supported by many of the community organizations. So bring your own water bottles, yoga mat, towel and blanket. And of course, it is free for everyone. So International Yoga Day, supported by Councillor Angela Owen. Tomorrow, the 13th of June from 10 a.m. at Kellamvale District Park, which is in Formby Street in Kellamvale. So yes, come and join everyone for a free day of yoga. Good for you, good for the environment, good for everyone. So ladies and gentlemen, in this segment, that's about all we have time for you. In our wonderful having your company here today on the 12th day of June. And of course, it's a beautiful day out there today in Brisbane. And there's lots happening. And if you'd like to come and join at the Philippines Independence Day celebration happening at Rockley Showgrounds, quite welcome to come and join in there. Honey Bini and a team are holding that function there. And of course, as you have seen from this event segment, upcoming event segment, that there's lots of functions and events taking place here in Brisbane. So Brisbane is a hive of activities, as we have seen. And if you'd like to get an idea of all the functions and events that are happening, you can always go to our website, Australian Indian Radio and Brisbane Indian Times. And of course, if you'd like to get a notification, subscribe to our EDM, which goes out every Friday with what's on in Brisbane. So it's sent out by Brisbane Indian Times about notification about each and every function that's happening in Brisbane and around and the surrounds area. So if you subscribe to that, you will get notified. And if you have any functions and events that you'd like to discuss about, we quite welcome that idea, and we'd love to welcome you on the show. You come and join us. And if you have any topic that you'd like to talk about, we do conduct interviews, and you are quite welcome to do that. If you are anywhere in the city, you can come actually into the studio, which is a preferred way. But if you are unable to come, we can always connect you via a video link as well. And don't forget that on our weekly basis, on Wednesdays, we have the real estate update with Usha Chandra. Then on Thursdays, we have the travel updates with Tanvi Goyal. And the last month, we have on the Fridays, the Migration Ka Safar with Suman Dua, and many other programs in between. So ladies and gentlemen, that's about all we have time for you in this segment. Thank you so much for joining, and of course, enjoy the rest of the weekend. Most importantly is remain safe, observe those safety rules. Until Monday, it's goodbye from me.